Every day I'm reminded that Mega Man Star Force 2 is a dystopia. Well, welcome back to the bottom. My name is Beast, and today we're back with ToHeart2. You may be wondering where the fuck that came from. Well, I'm just watching someone play Mega Man Star Force 2 for some reason. Just felt like it, and first off, it's just fun watching people get frustrated about 2, because quite frankly, 2's bad. 2's real bad. But yeah, imagine the dystopia where your social credit score just decided your lot in life. Like, oh, you want to stay in this hotel room? Well, what's your social credit score? Too low. Sorry, we can't give you a room. You are too much of a loner bastard to use this hotel. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, immediate warning. I had work today, so I am not feeling the best right now. I'm very exhausted, and my feet hurt. My knee for some reason hurts. So I'll be keeping it short today, especially since it's 11 p.m. already. So yeah, oh, right. Open the walkthrough. Too early for cherry blossom viewing. I think to myself as I walk under the dry cherry trees. I don't know who planted them, but there are cherry trees along the embankment of this dry creek bed. When spring vacation arrives, they'll be in full bloom, and it's quite the spectacle. Still, there are hardly any people who come cherry blossom viewing here. Everyone just passes through this place. What is that? Because it's not a park and just a regular pathway? So, look up at the cherry trees and ponder. Wasn't there a story about a body being buried under these trees? So would viewing cherry blossoms here be disrespectful to the person buried? Well, I can't see how. If bodies are here, I wonder how many there are. Maybe if there was a massacre. Frown at my own ridiculous thought process and continue on my way. Ah! Next instant, a strong wind blows through me. The dust storm is kicked up and I can barely keep my eyes open. I close my eyes tight. Huh? There's a faint smell of cherry blossom within the wind. Open my eyes slightly and see pink flowers. Cherry blossoms? Should be a long time before they bloom and then fall. Dust stings my eyes. I become unsteady on my feet and start stumbling. That's when I feel a strange sensation against my foot. Huh? What? What's this feeling on the back of my foot? It's a dead body. It's a bizarre sensation, but it's elastic. In some areas, it's somewhat bony. Okay. I have no experience to myself, but this must be what a dead body feels like. Chill runs down my spine. No, I don't look down. Cannot look down, but against my instincts, my gaze sinks downwards. And right there is... Oh my fucking god, she fucking dead. Ah! Dead body, dead body, dead body! I jump away from the corpse and fall over. I'm sorry. Oh, do it again! Never again! Please forgive me! Please rest in peace! Pray! I don't normally pray to Buddha, but it must be done at times like these. What should I do? Is this a crime scene? A murder? Perhaps I should run away. I have always lived a life of virtue. Now it seems like I've suddenly become a member of the criminal world. Before this girl opens her eyes. She's still breathing. She's alive! Huh? What should I do? Should I call an ambulance? Fire brigade? Police? Suddenly panic and move around in circles in front of her. Is it the shock of seeing a collapsed girl? Or is it the guilt associated with treading on her? Or is it the combined effect of both that caused my panic? Can't comprehend such bizarre thought patterns. Mugged? Murder? Or that? What sort of drama has happened here? The answer comes surprisingly quickly from the girl herself. A majestic grumbling sound. Obviously, it wasn't me, which means cautiously look at the girl's face. Perhaps, or perhaps not, since from this girl. I breathe a sigh of relief. We're all things she's simply hungry. There was no point in being so flustered. At least it isn't something serious like a heart attack, so if I leave her hungry as she is, she'll be okay. She's not dying, right? I think, then watch her, but she's no longer moving. I start breaking out in cold sweat. Unable to move from hunger, unable to eat due to that, unable to move further, unable to eat even more malnutrition, dying of starvation, dead! Ah, shit! I inwardly reproach myself. Anyway, I have to move her somewhere else first. Discussions can follow afterwards. I lower myself to lift the girl up, grab her arms, but... so soft. Feels like it shouldn't be touching her. My heart pounds, my head starts boiling over. Should I? Should I really? Or is it better to ignore her? No one's seen us. If I move my hand away from her, I put force... As I move my hand away from her, I put force into the other hand. And slap myself hard on the cheek. I hit myself so hard I almost fall over. But that's just what I need right now. A chicken shit like me who's unable to help a girl in need deserves it. I go down on one knee and scoop the girl up in a princess carry. There's no other way, or rather I don't have time to think of the consequences. Anyway, I carry the girl and run to a nearby park. I'm fortunate that it's evening and there's no one there anymore. I lay the girl down on the bench and head straight for Yaku's in search of food. Complete stranger. I never thought I'd be running to buy a hamburger, let alone a set meal for a collapsed girl. There's a limit to one's kindness. That may well be, but even if it's not for me, I didn't want to become someone who would ignore a person in trouble, especially if they're right in front of me. After returning from Yaku's, I kneel next to the girl who's lying on the bench and hold out the bag of food. But there's no response from her. She's deathly still. They're really fallen into some kind of mess. While I'm hesitant to do so, I poke the girl a few times. A response. I breathe a sigh of relief. Seems like she's still alive. But that's not good enough. I shake the girl. Then she shivers and quietly opens her eyes. She stares at me with a blank expression. Does she know what's going on? I hand the bag of Yaku out to the girl, who then rises slowly. She still doesn't understand what's going on. The girl shifts her gaze from the back to my face and back again. It's food. You're hungry, aren't you? With perfect timing, the girl's stomach growls and she blushes slightly. The girl silently takes the bag, opens it, and sniffs it. It's fine. It's not poisoned. The girl stares at me intensely. Is she doubting me? Does she think I'm a kidnapper? Still, she seems unable to withstand her hunger. The girl timidly takes out the hamburger from the bag and removes its wrapping. Then, after taking a deep breath, resolves herself and takes a bite. Is it tasty? I ask, looking at her face expectantly. However, she puts on an unpleasant look and doesn't speak. It's not. Well, it's fast food hamburger after all, so it won't be especially tasty. When the girl sees my troubled expression, she looks at the burger and then back at me. After doing that a few times, perhaps feeling awkward, she goes back to eating it uncomfortably. It somewhat looks like I'm forcing her to eat. No need to force yourself. If I said that, I doubt she'd listen. I feel a little sorry for her. Still, for someone who with a healthy young body that occurs to collapse in today's day and age. Now take a good look at her. There's nothing ragged about her attire. Doesn't look like she's under any financial hardship. Still, there's something out of the ordinary about her. She has some kind of unique aura. The aura! I stare at her and observe her carefully. When she finishes by sipping her oolong tea, she finally looks relaxed. I feel relieved. So far so good. The girl is no longer dying of starvation, and something worth celebrating. But now what? I'd be grateful if choices such as these in games come up right about now, but that's not gonna happen. Of course, I let out a big sigh. I don't want to say that I didn't want to get involved, but I'm no good when I'm stuck in situations like this with girls. I'm in deep thought when a girl calls out to me. I look at her. The girl searches for a hand in a handmade leather bag or something. I wonder what she's looking for. After searching for a bit, the girl pulls out something out of her bag. Is that what she pulls out is a matchbox. Right, it's a small square matchbox. With it, she pulls out one matchstick and hands it to me. Are you giving this to me? The girl says nothing, but it does appear that way as I look at my palm. The girl puts the matchstick there. Thanks? Stare at the matchstick. It's a kind of magic term. Seems to be an expression of gratitude, but a matchstick? That's weird. Unusual. So I find it hard to ask how it's strange. But the fact of the matter is, this girl is unusual. The meeting was unusual, and everything since then had been pretty strange. What kind of person is this girl anyway? Is she Japanese? Not Japanese. Did she come from somewhere else? Where on earth are you? I lean towards her to ask her. Then the girl stares at my face and says, "The power of Christ compels you." Huh? Once more. I'm stumped. Sounds like a broken record. Radio. What country has such a language? I can't make out a single word. I can't understand a thing of what you're saying! From being hit with a barrage of gibberish, I can't understand. I unwittingly raise my voice. The girl is startled by my tone of voice. She thinks a little before realizing that I'm not understanding. And this time she knocks herself on the right side of her head with a fist like she's incanting magic. First off, terrible pronunciation. Second off, straight up just wrong grammar. That sounds like a foreign language, but even though I know a little English, I can't say it's that. We have complete communication failure. Oh yeah, hold on. Like, the Japanese is better than the fucking written out grammar here. Like, you can still decipher that she's saying, können Sie Deutsch sprechen? Like, it's still not pronounced well, but you can still tell what it is. That one is just straight up wrong. Like, the only correctly placed and written word is sprechen. Like, kennen is supposed to be können, which is an O with 2 dots above it. Then the zu is supposed to be a C, S-I-E, which would be you. And Deutsches is supposed to be Deutsch without the ES. Like, they fucking overcommitted there. The girl looks progressively more displeased after realizing this. The girl squats down and picks up a stone, this time carving something into the ground. Right. Literally stone carvings. It's a series of connected symbols. Looks like some kind of ancient writing. Naturally, I have no idea what language it's meant to be. Recognizing my response is unfavorable, she tries again. This time she starts writing in hieroglyphs. I should know this. This is ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. I've seen it on TV. As if I can read it! What kind of joke is this? Was she really Egyptian? But the girl tries her best to ease my confusion and keeps writing her hieroglyphics. She's trying to tell me something. I know that, or rather, that's all I know. I should just... It's just that the only thing we accomplished is the acknowledgement of each other's bewilderment. I can make out the rue she's saying, though. What am I supposed to do at a time like this? Should I leave this matter to the police? Will that do, though? She's lost when taking her to the police is the if she's lost, then taking her to the police is the best option, however. In the end, neither of us know what to do. So we sit there half dumbfounded, doing nothing. Time ticks by. It starts getting dark. Can't keep doing this forever. Take a deep breath and decide on what I'll do. I'll take her to the police booth at the train station. There's nothing else we can do right now. Feels like I'm passing the problem over to the police, but I can't think of any other options. Having decided that, I tell her as gently as possible, "Shall we go to the police booth?" Doesn't look like she understood. Having no other choice, I reach for her arm. However, the girl leaps us up from the bench and puts some distance between us. Her eyes show wariness. She wasn't like that before, so why now? I take a step towards it, but realize my mistake all too late. Although I'm not communicating properly with her, I've suddenly pulled on her arm. Obviously, she'll be suspicious of me. Wait a minute! I hastily try to stop her. My hand doesn't catch hers. I'll scare her if I shout. I won't harm you. I won't harm you, okay? The more desperate I become, the greater the misunderstanding. The girl brushes my hand off and throws her leather bag at my head. Ow. I managed to catch it. But due to the impact, my hand turns rather red. The girl fires off some kind of indignant abuse and hides in the shrubs. Stand still, unsure what to do. I look at my outstretched hand, which I was trying to grab her with. Takaki, you idiot. You know you're uncomfortable with girls. The least you could do is think of a way to sort things out without upsetting them. I laugh at myself inwardly. I've sighed countless times today, and while watching her hide in the shrubbery, I speak to her. Sorry, I say and leave the park. As I turn away, I sense someone look back. There's no more sign of the girl. Dinner time. Konomi brings in a full plate of my share of the meal, and she questions me. Yeah. I answer her indifferently. Konomi stares at me. It's okay. That's okay. I repeat the answer absentmindedly. Konomi chuckles. Huh? Sitting there while spacing out, I'm taken aback by Konomi's unexpected comment. As a way of diverting the topic, I dig into the meal. Not really. It's not that I'm kind, it's just what good people do. Speaking of which, when things are going well, I become a complete idiot. Konomi forces a smile and mutters. I cock my head in puzzlement. You'd prefer if I wasn't kind? That's kinda cold-hearted. Konomi puffs her cheeks, about to say something but holds her tongue. What was that all about? Konomi's attitude is on my mind, but what's more pressing to me at the moment is that girl. If she doesn't speak under Japanese, she's probably foreigner, but couldn't figure anything else out. Not even her nationality. What were the circumstances surrounding her situation anyway? To end up in a collapsed state. Is she eating properly now? She does have money. I've forgotten something important. I finished dinner and rushed back to my room. On top of my desk is that girl's shabby leather bag. She must have been frightened at the time and forgot all about it. Pick up the bag and look at it. Feeling it in my hands, I can tell there are things inside it. Should I check? Perhaps there's something in here that could identify her. But should I open it on my own whim? The decision to open it or not revolves in my head a number of times. I feel awkward about touching a girl's personal belongings, but this is an emergency. I convince myself of that, then open the bag and look in. But, what the heck's this? Perhaps there might be a passport in there, I thought to myself, but what's in it just deepens my bewilderment. Inside was that matchbox, a fabric wallet, a credit card-sized metal card, and a baseball. What on earth? Is the relationship between these items? The matchbox is a matchbox. There's no brand written anywhere on it. Metal card, I can't tell if it's made of aluminum or stainless steel. The surface is smooth and I can't differentiate the front from the back. The baseball is a perfectly ordinary baseball. Nothing different about it. Baffling combination. Grab the wallet as my last source of information. Oh, it's pretty thick. You can tell it's quite full from the outside. Hope it's not. Timothy opened it and looked in. Oh, as I thought. It's packed with notes. Inside are dollars, marks, francs, and others too, constituting a veritable world fair. I don't know what the current exchange rates are, but this sum of money, like, why the fuck does she have Mach? Having only a vague idea of the exchange rates, I realize something odd. Huh? Wait a sec. The bills in his wallet. Marks. Francs. These are all European, but that must mean they are European, technically. Yes. One of them isn't accepted anymore. And with the exchange rate, it's no different from me carrying 10,000 yen notes. But these are no counterfeit notes. Also, the faces on the bills are from the colonial era. From what period exactly is this collection of notes from? Well, that aside, I returned to the former state and put it in my bag. This just deepens the mystery. I understand even less about the owner of the wallet. The only thing clear here is that the girl is ludicrously rich. By my calculations, she could buy 10,000 hamburgers. I experienced a strange feeling of discontent as I put the bag on the desk and lie down on the bed. I was trying to help her out in many ways, but I think I was too nosy. I'll take this matter to the police tomorrow. I should sort this out for good. They'll definitely do something. However, wasn't the girl hungry? She might be rich, but I'm holding on to her money right now. She couldn't communicate adequately, could she? And she had collapsed. I look at the bag again. Jeez! I really am a good person. Grab the bag and leave my room. Despite having just eaten, I run as fast as I can to the park. I wonder if that girl's still in the park. The park is dead quiet at night. I look all around the park, then... There she is! The girl is on top of the slide. She seems deep in thought while looking at the starry sky. Can't make out her expression, but there is sadness emanating from her. Wondering what she's thinking about. I feel a little awkward speaking to her, but there's no time to hesitate. I summon the courage and call out to her. Hey! She turns and looks my way. Seemingly surprised at seeing me there, she jumps down. Yep, she jumped down from the top and runs off at top speed. I haven't even done anything yet! I waved the bag and tried to call out, but she doesn't look my way. Ah, jeez! Why is this happening? My conscience pushes me to do the right thing and to give chase. Run, run, run. But the girl runs surprisingly fast and I can't catch up to her. She runs out the pathway and towards the bridge. But somehow I managed to catch up to her on the bridge and pass her. I block her way. Look, I'm not going to do anything helpful. I don't have any ulterior motives. I just wanted to return your bag, I wanted to say, as I hold out the bag to her. However, as I hold out, it hits her hand and goes flying into the air. There's a wide river below. It'll be lost if it falls there. I instinctively reach out for it. Surprisingly, my reflexes turn out to be good enough and I manage to grab the bag's handle. However, am I stupid or something? I've leaned out too far and the world turns upside down. I return to my senses and, unable to stop my momentum, I feel myself falling off the bridge. Ah! It happened in an instant. I fall into the river head first. Presumably from the impact I was knocked senseless and was just sinking to the bottom of the river. Oh my fucking god, he fucking dead. It's literally the end. My body and consciousness sink into darkness. As I lose consciousness, I vaguely see some kind of light. My eyes spring open as a voice brings me back. I'm drenched, but I can clearly feel dry land under me. I'm obviously not in the river. Where am I? My brain slowly reboots until I'm finally able to examine my surroundings. This place, it's the park. Looking carefully, it is the familiar park where I've quarreled with the girl. Have I gone back here? It's hard to imagine how I, by myself, came all the way from the bottom of the river to the park. So it must mean someone saved me. But who? Then, a ruthless comment is thrown at me. Yeah. I stand up and look towards the voice. And there is... it's that girl. She couldn't have saved me. The girl then answers my voiceless question.
ウーなど助けるつもりはなかった。しかし、ルーもウーには命を救ってもらった。だから、今回だけはルーの力で助けてやろう。感謝しろ、ウー。
Her comments are rude, but I do not complain. As this girl, that girl. Totally different from my first impression of her. Only a moment ago, she seemed so frail. More like, start getting a bad feeling about this. An odd feeling. Well, this girl was odd from the start. But now there's something more fundamentally so. I examine her from top to bottom. Ah! That one word I've reflexively pointed at her and shout, You can't speak Japanese! That's right, it's Japanese! Why did the girl suddenly learn Japanese? The girl thinks over the word a few times, then says after collecting her thoughts. He says, then knocks the side of her head with her fist like she did last time. Translator. Accident? More words aside to add to my bewilderment. But the girl appears to have misunderstood my bewilderment. She takes the baseball out of her bag. She says and throws the ball into the sky. It's dark, so I can't see very well, but in contrast to her appearance, she seems quite strong, because the ball disappears into the night sky. What is she talking about? Being shot down by a baseball? Was she gliding or skydiving? Is a strange manner of speech the result of being hit on the head? There is some sense to the story. Well, it's unexpected, but it may well be the case. Well, I can more or less understand the situation, I tell her. Let's go to the police booth. The police booth. There, where the policemen are. The girl again raised her voice in indignation. What? I asked her, surprised. Huh? Well, you could say the police wear blackish uniforms, although it's more dark blue. What?
やはりウーはメリケンの手先だ。正体を表せ、ウー。ルーは皆戦士だ。命をかけて戦うぞ。
Persecution complex? Quite a unique one. Of course not. Policemen help people in trouble. At least that's their official duty. I may say that, but with her holding such a grudge against the police, she glares at me menacingly. Okay, I get it. Oh well. How to back down here, I guess. Forcing her will just increases her animosity towards me. I'm known as being treated like a bad person here. I won't take it to the police booth. Nor will I contact the American embassy. Her mood has recovered, though she remains rude and grieve. I tended to her when she was in trouble and dying. In return, I'm treated like someone filming porn. What? Why that specifically? But if she's in trouble, I can't just leave her alone. At the very least, doing so will give me bad dreams. But then, what are you going to do? You don't happen to have somewhere to go to? The girl's expression suddenly sinks. Seems like I hit the nail on the head. Yet she says she won't go to the police. You won't go to the police or the embassy. Is the reason why you won't go to the American embassy because you're not American? I ask her just in case. At any rate, I don't think Americans use such unusual speech. She declares. So, you are American. Did you run away to Japan and didn't want to be deported? That's wrong too. She's not Japanese, she's not American, or from any other countries. So that leaves me nothing. I'll bring this issue to an end. So where are you from? Asked the girl, even though I think it's pointless. The girl points upwards. Look up the sky, she points to. The girl points to somewhere near the Big Dipper. Of course, there's nothing but stars there. So, where? There. Bridge is pointing. Near the Big Dipper. I stare at the stars and am hit with an unbelievable conclusion. Well, based on what I've seen, might as well be the case. Nice sense, but even worse so. Isn't this new development too big of a leap? She must be kidding. Puzzled, look at her again. She takes a cheerleader-like stance and grandiosely declares, oh, right, hold on. No need for the screenshot since, Guru should already exist. Still gonna take a screenshot, though. Speaks like a broken radio from before. Could only make out the Ru. The mouth hangs open and the girl knocks her head again. Yeah. Then, the girl once more raises her arms and declares to me. Ruuko Kire no Sora, as in pretty sky.
そうだ。この星の言葉にするとそうなる。
That's planet. No way.
ルーは大熊座47番星第3惑星ルーから光より速い光に乗ってウーを探検にやってきた。
This girl that calls herself Ruuko declares to me in a sidelong glance. I'm flustered.
ルーはウーの言うところのエイリアンだ。ルー
The owner calls herself an alien. Ruko Kiranosora holds her head and glares at me. Stop it. Don't tease people like that. Ruko stares at me. I can tell there's more that she wants to say. Now what's she gonna say after spouting that alien nonsense? Jokes should only be taken so far. Anything more in this alien, Ruko Kiranosora will be treated as a girl who runs away from home and is playing make-believe. The High Courts will reject her claims. Can't feel sorry for this runaway girl anymore. I'm going to send her off now. I don't care if you're a runaway or lost, just go home. If you don't know this area, I'll take you somewhere or get you to a phone. You have parents, right? We'll make them worry. Ruko suddenly looks dejected. See, she is a runaway. This girl does have a home she should return to. Come on, let's go. If they're angry at you, we'll come up with some excuse. I don't think claiming that you're an alien's gonna cut it, though. As gently as possible, but first of all, I should address how I'm getting her home. Ruko continues looking away. There's a sadness about her. Maybe she'll say she doesn't want to go home. Don't you want to go home? Ruko says quietly, but with a slight tremor in her voice. Can't return. Why? Will they get angry at you? You don't have the money? Well, I know that money isn't an issue. What with a wallet, stuff like that. So? Castaway. Ruko turns her back to me. Ruko says, turns around and runs off somewhere. Hey, wait, will ya? Frantically chase after her. When I spot her going around one of the playground equipment, I circle around to the other side of it to cut her off, but, there's no one here. Circle around the equipment and check on top of it, but I can't see Ruko anywhere. There's no sign of Ruko anywhere in the park. In the end, I've wasted my evening encircling the park 3 times without finding Ruko. Well, at least I gave her bag back with her wallet, so she'll be okay. But again, for Ruko to be that rich, yet to collapse. But in regards to what else I could do, about the only thing that comes to mind is to tell the police about a lost runaway girl named Ruko. But I had promised her I wouldn't involve the police. Naturally, I don't feel any obligation to worry about breaking a promise, no matter how small it is, would leave me with guilty feelings. When I returned home, the last thing that Ruko said to me, Castaway, is on my mind. I got the dictionary from my shelf and searched for the word. Castaway, castaway. Cast it to throw away. Away is over there. Throw over there. I don't really understand that meaning. There it is, castaway. Meaning, a person drifting ashore from a shipwreck to an island. No, I leave my thoughts of such absurd notions on the shelf along with the dictionary. Today I felt the worst after waking up. In the end, I couldn't sleep well due to worrying about that runaway girl. No surprise, I guess. The girl is all alone, her whereabouts probably unknown. Or if some evil person were to get a hold of her. I feel even more depressed thinking about that. Jeez, how did I get into this mess? Should look for her today. I guess I have to. Since I haven't gone out of the house yet, Kuromi comes in. She sees me eating a slice of bread and stares blankly. She says in amazement. She says, showing me the clock. If Kuromi's meeting me in my house, then I think it's probably late, but it's not the case. Still time. Think I can go to battle on an empty stomach? Kuromi puts on a dubious expression. I didn't mean much by it, but now that I think about it, that may be the case. Can I not have peace of mind? Put a frozen meal from the freezer into the microwave, and when it's pinged, I shake some salt over it. It's a bit of a mess, but I can make something out of it. There's enough of it to make a meal. That fucking foreigner, she understood Japanese conventions all along. I stuff a dried plum in there to exact my revenge. I ignore Konomi's question for now and wrap up the rice ball. Let's go. I stuff the rice ball into my bag and leave the house with Konomi. Walking to school with Konami. So far, there's nothing particularly different about this scene. Walking to school... so far, there... but I reach a point where I change direction and head to the park. Seeing my sudden change of direction, Konami hastily follows after me. There's some I want to check out first. Question mark appears over her head. After making sure that I have enough time to make it to school, I walk briskly to the park. This is how the park looks in the morning. It's probably still too early, as the only thing I see when looking around are sparrows. I'm a little let down, but still go into the park. Ruuko! Are you there? Loudly I call her name. While she may not have been a runaway and behaving unpleasantly, for whatever reason she was still dying of starvation. It's by bothering my conscience. However, it's easier. It's either she's not here in the morning or she's being cautious, but I see no sign of her. Ruuko! Call her name once more, but neither Ruuko nor even a cat comes forth. I guess expecting her to still be here was wishful thinking. Konami looks at me concerned. No, it's not quite like that. I say and look around the park. Should I just go to school? Or should I go look for Ruuko? If I am to make it to school, I don't have the time to do that. At a loss, I unwittingly step under a tree, then something happens. Huh? Konami notices it first and yells. I turn around reflexively, then I realize something is suddenly wrapped around my feet. With great force, I feel myself being lifted into the air. What the fuck?! My body shakes wildly in the air. What on earth is going on?! Konami calls out to me, panicked at the unusual situation. Meanwhile, the only thing I can think of is to look around. But as the shaking lessens and my body finally stays still, I figure out what happened. My feet were caught on a rope. Then I was pulled up with great force and ended up hanging upside down. This would mean I was caught in a trap. Seriously? This ain't no jungle. However, here I am, stupidly caught in a silly trap. That is an unmistakable fact. Right. This happened to me in the middle of the city, but why? I start feeling unwell. Is it because the blood is rushing to my head? Or because of the sudden change in my orientation? I want to do something quick, but I'm not skilled enough to untie myself from an upside down position. I'm not carrying a knife. In other words, Konami. Call out to panicked Konami and she finally comes to her senses. Sorry, could you call for someone, please? Konami also realizes she can't do anything and runs out of the park. I just pray that Konami doesn't express to others what a fool I've been. I have to trust Konami here. Next problem is, how long can I stay like this? I'd like to think that people don't die from hanging upside down, but the situation isn't the lowest among all. I feel hopeless in so many ways. As a matter of fact, it's a disaster. Yeah, we'll end up drying out here under the sun. I wonder how long it's been. Reality is most likely a surprisingly short amount of time, but I might believe it if I was told 1,000 years passed. As the overwhelming sensation of time passes, hanging upside down in a quiet park. By any measure, it's bizarre. There's something wrong with the world. As I consider biting my tongue and taking my life, I hear an unusual rhythm. Right, a rhythm. Wait. What the hell is this communist Red Army march like drum cadence? Communist Red Army march like drum cadence. Okay. This is Japan! Country with a constitutional government! How could this be allowed? I wriggle and struggle, but to no avail. The rope bites into my ankle and it starts swinging more and more, which makes me feel nauseous. Panic assails me once more. This cheap trick won't even be in a C-grade film these days. Besides, in such a C-grade film, wouldn't a hero come to save me? Ah! The rhythmic sound gets louder. What do I do? What's going to happen? What'll happen to me? But nothing happens. I just awkwardly spin around. Then, the rhythmic sound stops right near me and disappears before my eyes. Ah! No. Well, I think we're both in a tight spot. This is obviously due to my extreme stupidity. She makes the cheers sign while staring at me. I feel absolutely stupid. A blockhead. Probably enough to rival the top 2 idiots in the world. Ru looks at me and mutters. Huh? Ah! Being upside down, I feel like I'm about to be propelled when actually I fall due to gravity. Feel hard on my back, but nevertheless I'm alive. Safe without damage. Relieved for now. Ruko crouches down and and unties the rope from my feet. Says,
もう里に降りてくるな。Huh? 里は危険だ。食べられる。
She wanted to eat me?
食べない。だからリリース。
Ruko says with a serious look, understanding my horror.
食べない動物はリリース。これ、ルーの掟。
The headache I'm getting is by no means due to the blow to my head. Without a care for my feelings, Ruko deftly sets up the trap again. Good grief. Unfortunately, it seems that I'm the first victim. I'm relieved. And in order to prevent further victims, I grab my bag that was thrown when I caught and take out the rice ball. Here, eat this. Ruko sadly takes it and opens the wrapping. But she says, sighing,
まずそう。
Crude. Woman, is that what you say when someone shows you mercy? I retort, now listen, I might not have made it so tasty, but the
うまくな
ingredients...
いものを食わすな。
That's not what I mean. Why is the Japanese language difficult in times like these? In which case, eat. That's an order. Take the rice ball and place it squarely in front of Ruko's eyes. And surprisingly, Ruko looks uncomfortable at my tone of voice. But if she won't eat it, I still have an ace up my sleeve. I'll call the police if you don't eat it. That must have been effective. Ruko takes the rice ball from me
卑
reluctantly.
怯だぞ。捕虜を拷問している。国際問題だ。
She says, but Ruko puts it in her mouth. Ruko chews on it. Initially, Ruko is indifferent, but suddenly her expression becomes warped.
ルー。
It's fitting for a cheeky runaway
この
brat.
木の実、酸っぱいぞ。
It's called a dried plum. It's good for
ルー
you.
の味覚はおかしい。マゾヒストだ。
Call it sadistic. Still, she puts up with it, and as I watch her eat, I start finding her kind of cute and amusing. But having learned her lesson, she digs her finger into the second rice ball and pulls out the plum and pushes it against my
ルーが
lips.
食え。
Caught off guard for an instant, the plum enters my mouth. A shock runs through me from the slight sensation of her moist fingers on
思
my
い
mouth.
知れ。
Ruko isn't bothered by it, and with her same hand puts the other rice ball in her mouth. Feeling that she did something inappropriate causes my body temperature to rise. Crap, I won't lose to her seductive techniques! Meanwhile, Ruko appears to have swallowed the rice
二つ目
ball.
はまずくなかったぞ。ジャパニーズ謙遜か。
Yeah, thanks. Ruko comes right up to me and looks me in the face.
だけど
What?、
黒服に引き渡そうとしていたのに、どういうつもりだ。
No, well, what the heck? Why am I so frantic over such an unusual girl to the point that I'm making rice balls when I'm not used to doing it? Is there a reason aside from my soft-heartedness? I sit quietly, but she says to me as if she's brushing my concerns
まあ
off.
いい。ルーの加護は偉大だ。
Divine
常
protection.
に正しきルーを守ってくれるだろう。ウーの陰謀など取るに足らない。
Ruko says, handing me another matchstick. It does seem like a sign of gratitude. Why, I don't know though.
この場は礼を言うぞ。ルーは誇り高い部族だ。
I nod and take it. If I don't accept it, it'll complicate things. But it's confusing. Your name is Ru. Your clan is also Ru. Your country is also Ru. In addition, the Ru you said before is probably the name of your god. Ruko seems surprised at that and looks at me in
う
amazement.
ー、意外に頭がいい。
No need to compliment me, geez. The way she said it didn't quite feel like a
ル
compliment.
ーは母なる大地の名だ。すべての始まり、すべてが帰る場所。その偉大さは、うつよのものではとても言い表せない。故に、数千万の意味と使い方がある。
Then think of other words for it. It's not that fucking difficult. Thousands. Does that mean just saying Ruru will progress an entire
も
discussion?
っとも、ルー以外の星では、ルーといえば、挨拶の言葉だ。ウー以外、どこでも通じる。ウーが、ハローというのと同じだぞ。
She says and puts her arms in the air. That seems to be the Ru of greeting. So Ruko's Ru also has some special meaning.
当然だ。いかにルーといえど、母なる大地と同じ名をいただくのは名誉なこと。ルーの名には、
Stop. Ruko seems to be talking with a proud air about her, better stop her. I get the feeling the story won't end. Maybe next time. If she reels off a few million words, I'll fall asleep.
うー。
Well, I've understood the meaning of that Ru. When she's angry, it's naturally Ru. In other words, the meaning is dependent on the context and nuance. That's convenient for this girl's imaginary language. I appear to be getting the hang of it though, but it's not important right now. And a fair amount of time has passed before I realize that I gotta run or else. Okay? Don't go causing trouble for lots of other people. If you're well behaved, I'll bring you more rice balls. I prepare to leave, but Ruko addresses me. I stop and look back.
に聞く。ここに広い地面はあるか
Place?
そうだ。サインが。
He says, and then I hear my name being called. Ah, it's going to me and Yuji. You guys are too slow.
なんだお前が干物になってるって聞いたのに。
No. Actually, I was. I turn around, flustered, and try to figure out how to explain the situation. However, she's gone. She's disappeared again.
どうかしたの
Nothing. I look around, but there's no sign of Ruko. Where not did she go? She's usually around here, so I'm somewhat relieved. Seeing the change in my expression, Kurumi looks at me suspiciously. It's nothing, I said. We don't have much time, do we? Let's hurry. There's no time to explain. Besides, I don't know how to explain such a grandiose story to another party, so I put it aside for now and head off to school.
宇宙人
Right, an alien. She said she's from Ursa Major. Lunchtime. My life is finally back on its regular track. Yuji asks me to relay the whole story, which I reluctantly do. As expected, Yuji grins upon
お
hearing it.
前には変わった友達が多いな。
A lot? So? I'm looking at one of them now, aren't I? I poke Yuji, fed up with his ridicule, but Yuji's still grinning and doesn't deny it. It's no laughing matter. How would you feel if you were the one hanging upside down in the park?
慣れって言われてもな。
But Yuji scratches his head and ponders and says,
だったら関わり合いにならなきゃいいじゃねえか。
Huh? Yeah, wise words. Spot on. That may well have been for the best. That's not what I did in the end. In other words...
もしかして一目惚れか可愛かったんだろう。
Idiot! It's not like that. After expressing annoyance in Yuji, who always relates everything to love, he answers back.
じゃあどういうことなんだよ。
Yuji looks at me with great interest. In the end, Yuji's interest in the story goes there, as any normal person would. I'm fed up with this. Without a rebuttal, he will just conclude that that's how it is. Considering this, I collect my thoughts about Ruko. The reason why I'm involving myself with Ruko is... See my hesitation, Yuji says to me while looking a little stumped.
まったく。お前、女が苦手なくせに女に甘いんだからな。気ぃつけろよ。腹に穴開けられて、臓器も血も全部抜き取られるかもしれないからな。
Like cattle mutilation? But that only happens to dead cattle when small animals eat their innards. I'm about to correct him when...
あれ見ろよ。うわ、なんかすげえ
The voice suddenly speaks out in wonder. There's way too much ruckus even for
上
lunch.
行こうぜ。上。屋上から見るといいんじゃないのか
I thought it was just them being noisy, but as I look, more and more people are heading for the stairs. Rooftop? There's someone on the roof.
面白そうだな。俺たちも行ってみようぜ。
Yuji isn't just in commotion and taps me on the shoulder to follow. He just walks over there and just Ruko is doing some dumb shit on the school grounds. He just runs down there, just runs out the school bay. What the fuck are you doing? You know, Yuji is interested in commotion and taps me on the shoulder to follow. But, okay, I don't quite get what's going on, but I follow Yuji up the stairs. What is it? What on earth happened? Without knowing what it is, I follow the movement of people. I get to the rooftop, but when I get to the rooftop, a crowd of people is gathered there. Everyone is desperately trying to get a view of the ground, so it's hard to get close. But Yuji, with his shameless manner, cuts in between everyone and scores his reserved place against the fence. I follow Yuji and look at the grounds from behind him. Down there it is?
おい、あれって。
You're kidding me. I'm at a loss for words. There's writing on the grounds. Isn't Nazca geoglyphics? The ground is covered with Nazca bird-like characters and white
もしか
writing.
してあれって宇宙人の陰謀か
Yuji asks me half seriously and half jokingly. Alien. I've got a bad feeling about this. Don't tell me this is... I scan the ground to spot a girl who's dragging along a limeline maker. Presumably nosing our commotion, the girl who's writing the lines looks up the rooftop, puts her arms in the air, and says one word. I knew it! That familiar repetitive phrases from Ruko! Can't tell if she minds the commotion or not, but she looks that way without emotion, just watches us wave at her. What is she trying to achieve? But one thing's for sure, if I don't do something, she'll be in serious trouble. It's seen as suspicious activity by it's seen as suspicious activity by an unauthorized person. Basically, police matter. What do I do? What should I do? Just because Ruuko greeted everyone doesn't mean she's seen me. Could just let her be. I have to do something.
Oi, Takaki!
I burst my way through the crowd of people and rush down the stairs. When I get to the ground, Ruuko finishes her greeting and resumes her geoglyph writing. Shit, I gotta stop her. Ruuko! After hearing me call to her, she notices me, stops her work, and turns towards me. She raises her arms again in greeting, and I frantically stop her. Don't do me! What are you doing in my school? I speak furiously at her. I don't know whether she understood me or not, but she just answers indifferently. To write this! Gotta think of it. Didn't she ask about that? Want to be part of the park? Okay. Rescue message. I see. That does seem to be alien-like. But would tracks on the Earth's surface be visible from Earth's image? A voice calls out to us from afar. I look and see someone running towards us. Crap. Teacher. There's no way they wouldn't have noticed this commotion. Try to explain, but I don't know how. Saying it's a rescue request won't turn this into a laughing matter, but may well get me taken to the disciplinary room for doing a prank. I give up as the teacher seems to have decided what this is already. He doesn't look at me but at Ruuko. Well, with her operating the blind marker, it's obvious that no one else can be the suspect. Crap. I can't say she's an alien. How should I answer these circumstances? She's a foreign friend! She's a friend, yeah, the pen pal from overseas that's a budding artist. I blurred out suddenly, but I realized as soon as I said it. What an idiot. People don't have pen pals these days. I should have at least said that she's an email pen pal. That's at that point, that's fucking semantics. Pen pal? The teacher looks suspiciously at Ruuko. In order to add legitimacy to my story, I add details to further cover her up. She's a foreigner, so for the time being, she doesn't understand Japan. What's more, being an artist and seeing such a large open space, she couldn't help but express her creative urges. Ruuko tries stopping me, displeased at my increasing deception. Whether it's considered fortunate or not, whenever she says Ru without expression, no one would be able to pick up its nuances unless you hang around her. That should solidify the claim that Ruuko and I are acquainted. The teacher sighs and says, Yeah. Understood. Seeing the teacher accept the situation for the time being, I escort Ruuko. I momentarily hesitate to touch her hand, but it's an emergency. After managing to deceive him until now, I hesitate, but if I hesitate, that could raise suspicion. I grab Ruuko's hand tightly and pull her towards the exit of the school grounds. I'm not going to harm you. Despite all that, Ruuko's the one complaining. Although this is an emergency, I still have the vague memory of carrying Ruuko, and touching her again reminds me that Ruuko is indeed a girl. Yep, I'm tightly holding a girl's hand right now. Soft and warm. I hear cheers and whistles behind me, but I can't let that bother me now. Must be Yuji's doing. I'll deal with him later. I tell myself and click my pace to exit the school. After getting halfway down the hill, the commotion from the school is far off. They likely can't perceive us out here. Take a breather. Okay. As a result of her displeasure, I quickly let go of Ruuko's hand. Good grief. My hand and back are all sweaty. How long has it been since I was this embarrassed? The last time must have been when I was little and Tomine helped me remove my underpants. Look at Ruuko. I can't tell from her expression whether Ruuko understands the situation or not. I reluctantly speak to Ruuko. What were you thinking coming to my school? You were lucky that you came to my school, so I was able to cover for you, but any other... And you would have... It would have become a police issue. That would have attracted the police, which you hate, Ruuko. The vast majority of Earthlings probably don't believe you're an alien, Ruuko. It's perfectly fine that you're an alien, but learn how to mingle with Earthlings. Ruuko stares at me in response. My tone of voice is not that stern, but there's no doubt I'm scolding her. Her response may well be dissatisfaction. I sigh once more. Anyway, shall we go? Though I don't know where to take you, Ruuko. I say and begin walking down the hill again, but Ruuko just stares at me without moving. What's wrong? You think I'm taking you to the police? Well, that's just a threat. But that was just a threat. I'm not surprised she's cautious here. But don't worry, I won't be doing that now. But when Ruuko finally opens her mouth, her response is contrary to what I expected. Huh? Why? Again, that question again. I hesitate once more. Not like I believe in such things, but I just felt like it. Tell Ruuko what I thought. I just felt like it. You seem troubled.
困ってた
But I felt a little sorry for you. It's like you're always hungry and don't want to return home. But yep, it's like that. She's like an abandoned puppy. I doubt that she's really an alien, but I decided to believe she doesn't want to go home for now. I believe in myself, so I'm going to believe in what I feel about you. It doesn't mean I believe your whole story. I just think you're a runaway making stuff up.
ルー
She looks a little upset about my last comment, but just for a moment. Ruko's expression is slightly gentle when she says,
お前はおかしなウーだいいウーは死んだウーだけだというルーもいる
When Ruko says that, I realize something. The Ooh you speak of are not just me, but all Earthlings.
今さらわかったかウーに住んでいるからウーだだからウーはウーのことでありウー以外のすべてでもある
Does that make us Earthlings uncivilized? Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't help but remember fucking Obi-Wan shooting someone with a fucking laser pistol and just like, oh, so uncivilized, and throwing it to the side.
だけど
Ruko smiles ever so slightly and
ルー
says,
パパやルーママは真実は自分の目で見るものだと言った確かにそうかもしれない
Ruko stares at me in a bit intently. Ruko?
ウーのことはルーパパとルーママに話しておいてやろうルーは族長の娘だもしかしたら褒美があるやもしれない
Slight amount of pride isn't entirely absent in Ruko. Well, there does seem to be a little pride indeed. Whoops. Crap. Ruko's just a runaway doing make-believe. What am I doing? What am I doing getting wrapped up in her
今日
farce?
はまた世話になったなこの礼は必ずするルーの誇りにかけ必ずこの約束を果たそう
It's fine. More importantly. What do we do now? You're not going home. She'll definitely end up hanging around somewhere. She has money, so for the time being, she can get by. Nonetheless, setting up traps in the park is a concern. Then Ruko says, slightly
今は
sad.
ウーの中で生きていくそう決めた今度はウーに迷惑をかけない方法を考える
We're shipwrecked,
そう
right?
だでも信じてるルーは決してルーを見捨てないウーにはわからないだろうルーは種族にして家族なのだ
But start saying, but frankly disregard what I was about to say. Can't help but feel sympathy for this girl. But what are you planning to do tonight? It's not like the world would understand you putting her up for the night. She's either picked up on my confusion or was just conjecturing, but Ruko says to me,
安心しろお前に迷惑はかけないルー一人で生きられるルーは誇り高い部族なのだから
I'm grateful to hear that, but what do I expect of her? I think I should take the minimum precautions. Okay, I'll accept that you'll be okay by yourself, but I'll buy you food at the store. You must not hunt.
ルー
If I could, I'd lend you my apartment and stay at a hotel. If not, Kurumi, a friend could probably be relied upon to help.
ルー
Does that mean it's not a problem? I'm not uneasy. Plus, one more thing. What does Milady eat for lunch and so on? Ruko thinks it over for a while and then tells me
お
clearly.
前の不細工な蛍光料食がいい
Is that because she doesn't know Japanese cuisine well? Because she has so little to choose from. Hamburgers don't make the cut, it seems. Rice balls? I have to cook the rice. Convenience stores ones won't do.
コンビニ店で作ったものかダメだお前のが一番いい
But he didn't like the dried
入
plums.
ってないのを作れうー
Sheesh, fussy one. Is she fussy or not? She's a dork, I like it. Before I know it, Konomi's riding me horseback. She has her arms around my neck and is shouting something. Hey, don't move around like that, I haven't woken up yet. I say something out of place as I'm on the bed with Konomi trying to kill me. Huh, where am I? A dream? Huh? Huh? The shaking is no dream. I fell asleep on the couch in the lounge room at lunchtime and frantically get up. Doesn't appear to be happening to the floor. It does appear to be happening to the floor. Earthquake. No doubt about it, every house is shaking. A hugely discordant clatter comes from the tableware and cookingware in the kitchen. What am I supposed to do when this happens? I hold on to the table in front of me when I remember. I've heard it said that the safest place in a house during an earthquake is the toilet. Luckily, I'm on the first floor. I'm right next to the toilet. I crawl along the floor out of the living room. I grip the doorknob tightly, open it, and collapse into the toilet. I cling to the toilet and steady myself. I can see the water splashing around in the toilet bowl. The splashing almost hits my face, and then the shaking suddenly subsides. Is it over? While I'm clinging to the toilet seat, I meaninglessly look around the private room. There shouldn't be any aftershocks. How long do aftershocks occur? Should probably stay here for a bit longer. Not sure whether I should leave or not, but I want to know how things are outside, so I timidly reach out to the doorknob. Could I be in one of those situations? One of those characters in a horror movie that has some huge monster approaching outside? Huh? Door won't open. It moves a little, but won't open. That's the frame warped from the shaking. Kind of think for it, they did say to leave the door open if you jump into the toilet during an earthquake. No, that's wrong. There's something on the outside of the door. No matter how hard I push, if the door isn't moving, then there's something like furniture up against it. Was there something outside the toilet door? Ah, the slipper rack! I must have fallen in front of it. Hey, there's no time for jokes. Right? The joke would have been it must have slipped in front of it. With the door only opening slightly, there's no way I can get out. I try to put my hand on the light gap, and barely a finger fits through. I scratch the other side of the door in vain. Looks like there's a chance of escaping looks like there's no chance of escaping via the door. There's a grate on the window. It might be made of plastic, but it would be impossible to break by hand. Grab it with both hands and try moving it. Try again, this time putting all my weight behind it. Doesn't budge. Look around me, but there isn't anything that I can see to use to help. Besides, it's pretty obvious that there is very little to search in a toilet to use. If I can't get out on my own, I have to call for help. Maybe if I call out the window, someone passing might hear me. But what a pathetic predicament to be seen in. To be honest, to begin with, even if I call someone, they won't be able to get as far as the entryway without a key. A rescue squad could have forced the door open to the entryway, but that would no doubt be a huge ordeal. Plus, they could make me a laughingstock in the neighborhood. Decide to leave calling for help as the last resort. First, I'll call it lightly to the next house. Konami! Wait a bit. Perhaps she's not there. Yuji's house is farther away and too quiet a voice won't reach that far. I'll wait to see what happens a bit longer. With no sign of being rescued, I lift the toilet lid and sit down. Jeez, it's a day off. What does this happen to me? Wish I hadn't run into the toilet, or at least left the door open. I was up late last night, so I'm getting tired rather quickly. I leaned my head against the wall while sitting on the toilet. If this was a room, I'd at least be able to lie down. Push up against the wall with my head and close my eyes, despite being rather sleepy before. I'm way too alert now. Twist my neck and look up at the blue skies out the window. I wonder what everyone else is doing. Not a single person in the world knows what happened to me. If no one finds me here and I die of starvation, my parents will find me mummified when they finally return. That would make headlines in the newspaper for a short while, and then be completely forgotten. Ah! Almost fell over from the toilet seat suddenly. What is it? Phone? Oh yeah, telephone. Ow. I frantically tried to leave the toilet and bang my head hard on the door. Ow, ow, ow. There's no time to worry about the pain. I have to get to the phone ASAP. Hey! I'm in here! The receiver's still on the hook, so shouting gets me nowhere. They hung up. Futile silence returns. I feel all my strength drain out, feeling like the whole world has abandoned me. My head still against the door, I slide downwards. Yeah, there's nothing to do. I can do about it now. Couldn't get the phone. Couldn't get the phone anyway. Console myself, put the toilet seat down and sit again. My throat has gotten dry from calling out. There is water, but water under my butt starts making noise. You're on the toilet. There's a fucking sink. I'll track that down after this is over. Yeah. Rips of movement occur in the toilet bowl. I thought it was my imagination for a moment, but then they increase in magnitude. Hey, an aftershock? Put both hands on the walls and steady myself. Is that it? Shaking suddenly stops. I was able to see the aftershocks through here, too, and finally feel relief. Now I'm worried about the state of the house. It was big enough to knock over the slipper rack. How's the rest of the furniture? Carefully look around the crack in the door. Huh? The door slightly opens more than it did before. The extra shaking seems to have moved the slipper rack. Put my strength behind it and push, but the door opens no further. Try putting my hand through the crack and manage to get as far as my upper arm out. But that's the feel of the corridor. Yep, that's the feel of the corridor floor. I purposely touched the coating of the floor. Ouch. When I try to pull my arm back, it gets stuck. But I somehow managed to. If only I could push the rack in front of the door with something long. Look around the toilet and find no implement I can use. It's really surprising how little there is. If only there was at least a toilet brush. Couldn't care less that it was long. I couldn't care less what it was so long as it was long. Look around and my eyes settle on the toilet paper. Stare at it and then carefully pull the paper. I rip off all the white paper, leaving only an empty toilet roll. How did you do something with this? Grab the toilet roll and reach the crack in the door. Ugh, my elbow won't bend. Push my cheek up hard against the door and reach my arm out again. Just a little more. Oh god, I can't reach far enough. From this position, I can't get any strength behind it. If I could at least get up to my shoulder, I might be able to do something. Give up and pull my arm back. I screw up the toilet roll in frustration. It's futile. Do I have to pull apart the ceiling? Or I could swallow my pride and call for help. The telephone rings sharply again. The door is opened wider, so now is my chance. Push up against the door and reach my arm out, but again my hand can't reach. The toilet roll! Ah, screw it up. I have to use a new one. Take out another toilet roll from the holder in my excitement. Roll, 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 roll. Please don't stop ringing. Right now I'm prepared. Move the empty roll from the paper. I'm here, hang on! Push my face against the door and reach out. From this position it's hard to see where I'm going. Trusting my instincts, I push the toilet roll out. Just a bit more. Here! I pushed the telephone off its stand. Finally pull my hand back. The receiver seems to have come off the phone in the entryway. Hey, I'm here! Here! They hang up. In one swoop, I'm at a loss. With the receiver off its hook, there's no chance of them getting through if they call again. Sink to the floor. Only a bar will wrench open the door. However, it's not like there's anything bar-like around. Some bent to push away the slipper rack on the other side. Something bent. How about I timidly lift up the toilet lid? I rip off the U-shaped seat of the toilet. Put half of it through the door vertically and then turn it and put the door in the space between the U. I feel some give. As I pull the toilet seat from inside the toilet, I can tell that the slipper rack is moving. I'm out. Seems unbelievable, but it went well. Stand there dumbfounded, feeling the inside of my house. Feel the inside of the house huge as after effect of being stuck in the toilet. It almost feels unfamiliar to my body that I can walk anywhere. It was indeed the slipper rack that fell outside the door. Though it's only for guests and family visitors, a number of different colored slippers are scattered on it. It's amazing that my movements was hindered by just that. It's a reminder of the terrifying reality that with just flesh and bones. After standing there dumbfounded for a bit, I slowly move over and put the phone back in place. Put the receiver back at the very moment it rings. Pick it up frantically. Hello? Yuji. What? What's it up to? Don't give me that shit. But thank goodness for the U-shape of the toilet seat. What would have happened if we had the Japanese-style O-shaped seat? What the fuck was that event about? That day, Yuji and I buddied up on the way to school as usual. Everything's peaceful and quiet. In other words, very ordinary. Top quality boredom. At this time, any sudden change would be most unwelcome.
So yeah.
Yuji fights off a yawn as he speaks. Do I have to hit you?
例の彼女とはどうなった?
That girl.
家出娘の外国人。
Ruko. Calling her that girl made me not sure who you were talking about. I told you before about Ruko's an acquaintance. Whether she's a friend or not is still in question.
でも、餌付けには成功したんだろ?
Feeding. That makes it sound so demeaning. It was only a few times in all honesty. I gave her meals only 3 times. And as I said that... Yeah, morning. I answer reflexively to the voice. Surprised to turn around the voice and see a familiar girl about to pass through the school gate. Is that?
おい、あれって...
No need for Yuji to say it. I frantically follow after and call to her. Ruko! As he's about to pass the gate, she turns to me. Ruko looks at me with her usual slightly absent-minded, vacant expression. grab her hand and pull her towards me. What are you doing? You can't come in uninvited. They'll get angry. Though I'm a little surprised by myself, it's still holding her hand. I question her, but Ruuko responds in her usual
問題
manner.
ない。制服着てるウーと一緒。
Same as... Where'd you get that? She's indeed wearing the school's uniform. But even so, that doesn't mean it gives her permission to freely enter the school. If anything, pretending to be a student would probably make it a matter for the police. I told you before, didn't I? Unauthorized personnel are forbidden
だ
entry.
からルーは関係者になった。
Now listen, does this make-believe runaway girl think that will allow her to come to the school? At this point, you can still call it cosplay. If you leave now, before I finish, Ruuko just head straight to the gates. Ah! Frankly, follow her. Didn't I tell you shouldn't? Quick, before teacher
だ
sees
か
it.
らルーは
Luke was about to repeat her previous excuse when he hears a sudden
一
voice.
体何をしているのかね。
That voice, don't
お
tell
は
me.
よ
ルー
School principal. Out of nowhere. It's the last boss. Crap, there's no excuse this time. She's become a well-known foreigner, and if she becomes a part of the school, everyone would know for sure. Before, she came in street clothes, unauthorized, but this time she's impersonating a student. It's the end. Hang my head terrified, but sneak a look at the principal to see his expression. I expect that the principal ignores me and is staring at
君
Ruuko.
は
Crap. He seems seriously suspicious. This girl. Tried to say something, but come up with no excuse this time. It's too late. This is the end. Or so I thought, but contrary to my expectations, the principal
あ
says...
あ君は留学生の子だね。
Eh?
じゃあ私が職員室まで案
ルー
I stare at the two of them blankly. Exchange student? Ruuko? What? Really? Even to lie that she's an alien, a runaway girl. But they both agree with my building and head towards the school building. Then homeroom. Well, that's what I was thinking, but...
もう3学期も終わり近いが留学生を紹介する。
You know, there's like... Literally only like... a few fucking weeks left of the school year, but here's an exchange student anyway. The teacher's voice resounds. With her name written in hiragana in huge round writing on the blackboard, she makes her usual gesture and says to us,
ルーコルーコ綺麗な空よろしくしろうー。
じゃあみんな仲良くな。
Yes, everyone responds. No one raises their voice to ask a question. It's gonna be okay! We have a universal exchange student.
痛いぞうー無礼だぞ。
I know, so don't struggle. And so, Ruuko Kiranosora, transfer student, and furthermore an exchange student, is curiously enough the center of attention in the school. I knew that would be the case, but during lunchtime I resolved myself and pulled Ruuko out to the corridor. But what on earth, what kind of underhanded technique did she use? Ruuko has cheekily managed to enter the school as an exchange student. It's quite a feat for a runaway girl to manage handling the procedure involved in becoming an exchange student. Not to mention how it is for someone claiming to be an alien. It's weird by any means, but no one takes note of it. Did you brainwash him? Under these circumstances, if I were to say there's something strange about Ruuko, I'd actually be the one looking strange. Besides, why'd you come here? Into the school. She can't be aiming to try and control the school, could she? She is allegedly an alien.
何のつもりだうー。
Ruuko says to me somewhat displeased after I take her to the corridor. However, I say back to her, having accepted defeat. That's what I want to ask you. Coming here dressed like that? I look at her from top to bottom. She looks good in it. Anyways, it's not like she has always been coming to the school because she wears the uniform so well. Very well prepared. Is it that easy to procure a school uniform? The school's girls' uniform, for those inclined, is rather popular, so it'd be hard to get one, I imagine.
見惚れたか
As if I answer with annoyance at Ruuko's aloof attitude. What I want to ask is, what on earth did you come to the school for? Perfectly obvious question. However, Ruuko's response to my question is not remotely
何
obvious.
しに愚問だぞうー。
Ruuko says, showing off, but with her solid expression, she turns into place and
見ての
says,
通りだいかにウーとて理解できよう。
Understand what now? I sigh and say, I can't, not at all. No matter how you look at it, it's standard fare within regulation store supplied official uniform. Would someone with a school uniform fetish say so too?
ルーウーの目は木の節かウーがこんなにも愚かだとは思わなかったぞ。
Can't you see right through me? Ruuko says
潜
disappointedly.
入調査だ。
infiltrative investigation. Raise my voice invitingly.
そうだ、ルーはもともとウーの調査にやってきた。だからルーはウーのことを知りたい。しかしそれには適当なサンプルが必要だ。そこで
Ruko stares intently at me. No way.
喜ぶがいい。ウーを貴重なサンプルとして選んでやろう。
Ah! You mean this young lady came to the school to observe
そういう
me?
ようなことだぞ。ウーの名前がルーのみならず全宇宙に広まることになる。7代先まで称えるがいい。
You plan to make my family exposed to public scrutiny for all eternity? No, thank you. No. That's right. It's not like I believe Ruko is an alien. Regardless, observation would mean being with me 24 hours a day. Have my privacy too. That went wrong now. How could you do something so embarrassing? Find someone else, another subject. For example, Yuji? Yeah, Yuji. He'd be happy having a girl hang around him, even if she's a ghost or an alien. He's ideal for such a mission. As I think it's a good idea, I turned Ruko to the classroom and push her towards Yuji, but she shrugs
不
me
服
off.
かならこれをやる。
She says and takes something from her pocket. This wouldn't happen to me. Yep, what she took out was a matchstick. Wonder what that must be to do with that. Arson? I like how his first thought is like, want me to commit arson? I mean, who am I to say no? Like, it's not my fault you fucking told me to. Coerced me into it, quite frankly. So... I look at Ruko's upturned eyes in bewilderment. Ruko's expression. Jeez, I say she's serious. Not an ounce of deceit. In other words, she's that serious. Sigh deep inside. It's frightening that she believes that matchstick counts as some kind of recompense. Looked like a bad guy who turned it down. In the end, I reluctantly take
で
it.
は許可が出たところで早速次から観察するぞ。
Yes, okay, jeez. Please do as you like. Next class, the teacher arrives punctually and the class begins quietly. Look over at Ruko. Unfortunately, I should say Ruko is not immediately next to me, but behind to the side of me. Well, it's a good thing we have that dedicated transfer student seat. Good, thank goodness. From where she sits, all Ruko can see is my back. The class proceeds without me feeling like I'm being watched. When I confirm that's the case, I breathe a sigh of relief. However,
ルー
Ruko suddenly stands up in the middle of class. Ruko's sudden action brought the entire class's attention to her. What on this earth is she trying to do? Everyone, me included, watched her with interest as Ruko walks briskly over to my seat. What is it? I ask her. She can't mean to observe me from this close a distance. Then, Ruko begins doing something way beyond my expectations.
ウー
Huh? Move in? What? I'm about to ask when Ruko forces me sideways on my little seat. Ah! The girl's just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like she's getting out of her seat in confusion. I accidentally fucking pressed something, so I have to open fucking the browser again to open the guide again. Also, for some reason, someone sent me a picture of Vanilla and Kumira from Grand Blue, which, yes, we like the Rafs around here. There we go. What are you doing? Ruko's forceful action brought me to the verge of falling off the seat, but I climbed the desk and managed to cling to the desk and managed to hang on. Meanwhile, having deprived me of half my seat, she shoves herself right up against my shoulder.
狭いぞ。ウーなんとかしろ。
He's done. The teacher, as everyone else, intently watches our exchange, but while it's expected that he'd be taken aback by it, I appealed to the teacher, shouting, Sensei!
ああどうした河野
The teacher finally comes to his senses and responds mechanically. The teacher, too, seems to not quite grasp the sudden situation. Still, I appeal to my case desperately. Ruko? I glance at Ruko. Ruko's eyes say, is there a problem? There very much is! Well, I'm a guy. You're clean to me. And what? My thoughts have already strayed. My only possible salvation, that lesser god in the world, the teacher, observes the child's interaction. He has to put his foot down as a teacher. That's what he's probably thinking. The moment he's about to speak, Ruuko brusquely raises her hand and says,
ルーはここがいい。
いや、いいと言われてもな。
The teacher more or less points that out sensibly, but Ruuko doesn't back down and
ここ
says
がい
again,
い。
しかし、
ここがいい。ウーの隣がいい。
Ruuko says her absurd comments with a serious expression. The teacher also looks troubled and looks at both of
どう
us.
してもか。
Ruuko nods. The teacher sees her response, scratches his head and says in surrender,
じゃ、仕方がないな。この、席詰めてやれ。綺麗な空くんはお前の管轄だ。お前が彼女の留学期間中、面倒を見るように。
Hang on, Sensei! What does that mean?
外国人だから、アメリカに逆らうと怖いんだぞ。
Extraterritorial rights! Besides, what kind of a country bumpkin is instantly assumes foreigner means American?
ああ、ほら。綺麗な空くんに教科書を見せてやれ。授業を始めるぞ。
What?
教科書を見せろ。ウーの教育レベルを検証してやる。
Alright. Ah! Ruuko once again pushes herself into the chair, forcing herself right up against me. Her breast, her smell. Is this heaven? Okay, Jesus Christ. Or hell. Probably hell, more so. At lunchtime, I check out something that Komaki has affixed to the bulletin board. In charge of Ruuko, Takaaki Kono. What the hell's that? She's no rabbit or chicken. Why on earth did it end up like this? This process contains the missing link of mankind's progress. Huh? Why? These questions go far beyond my ability to comprehend. This is fate, so just accept it, please. Is that how it is? Is this the power of Ruuko Universal Mystery too? Sigh and sip my orange juice from the pack. Beside me, Ruuko is nibbling away at a pork cutlet sandwich.
美味しくないぞ。ウー。
Is that any way to speak to when given food to eat?
ウーのせいじゃない。だから、ウーは気にしなくていいぞ。
Worry about it? it's like there's something wrong with my taste buds.
亜鉛不足だ。安心しろ。
Not worrying the slightest about that.
このラブコメ男が
I'm going to beat the shit out of you, Yuji! Yuji suddenly grabs me from behind and using a headlock he learned from Tamane.
もう留学生引っ掛けやがって無口なジャパニーズナイスガイを気取ろうったってそうはいかないぞ
What do you mean I'm not? Yuji keeps me in the headlock while he looks at
なあなあ
Ruuko.
ルーコちゃんこんなのほっといて俺と付き合わない
興味ない。サンプルは一人でいい。
チェこの過方者め
Ah! Because Ryuji suddenly released me, I fall back forward and hit Ruuko in the chest.
けだものかウー。
No! It was on purpose! Accident, accident, accident!
ういうしいねつけ入る隙はなしか
Now look.
冗談だって
Raging demon him!
でもルーコちゃんに嫌われたくないからな邪魔者は去ると
Huh? Yuji says and heads off, leaving Ruuko and me. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Ruuko. Ruuko stares vacantly. I don't know what's wrong. Her eyes are directed towards me, but she's not looking at me. She's here, but seems to be staring somewhere else. Ruuko? Call her name again.
来やすいぞウー。
Ruuko finally responds, apparently back to herself. What's she speaking of? I was thinking about
どう
something.
かしたか
Nothing. Our positions suddenly reverse. I've become all flustered. I haven't gotten used to being alone with a girl. I've asked whether I should leave Ruuko by herself. I can't, but having everything pushed onto me like this when this happens, why? I risk asking the question. Why me? Really, Yuji's the better choice,
ウー
absolutely.
の友か
Right, he has this boisterous side, but he's a good guy, and he's used to dealing with girls. Besides, if he learned you're an alien, it wouldn't change his attitude. Ruuko waits for me to finish, then grabs my half-empty orange juice and drinks it dry. Why didn't you tell Yuji the same thing as me? I think that'd go well. I doubt it goes smoother with Yuji than... no doubt it goes smoother with Yuji than me. That's how I feel. Or rather, I'm convinced of. I'm clumsy at this, whereas he handles any situation just fine. So Ruko's inquisitiveness and requests are suited to Yuji, I think. At finishing her orange shoes, Ruko stares at me. Huh? Ruko calls me again. I stare at her face. Then Ruko pauses for a moment and says in a serious
オレ
tone.
ンジジュースは果汁 100% がいいぞ。ルーの好みではみかんの方がもっといい。
Ah! Gets slightly pissed at Ruko redirecting the discussion and forcibly nabbed the empty drink pack from her and crush it. Your tastes don't matter, Ruko! I'm surprised by my own words. Ruko puts on a slightly pathetic look and stares longingly at the juice pack. So, sorry. Even though it's pointless, I still return the pack to Ruko. I was immature. I really think so. Given Ruko's complicated circumstances, I should not have gotten worked up over such a pathetic thing. I ask again about why I was chosen as a subject. Why me? Tell me the reason. Otherwise, I can't understand the current situation. I look at her seriously this time. But Ruko doesn't make any eye contact with me. I don't think it should be left without an answer like this either. She mutters just a few words.
理由なんかない。
What?
理由なんかないぞ。たまたまだ。ウーでなければならない理由なんて一つだってない。
Ruko says coldly, stands up and hands me the pack and leaves. Hey, Ruko! I call out to her and stop her. But she doesn't, just walks off. What did she say? No reason. In which case, Yuji's even more suitable. After school, I pack my stuff and head out to class quickly. Yuji's on cleaning duty, so that means I'm on my own today. However, as I look behind me, she's following me after all. After lunch, I thought Ruko would be avoiding me, but that wasn't the case. She sat in my seat, and now she's following right behind me. I don't get it. What on earth does she want? Is she angering me? Is angering me linked to data acquisition? I won't be seriously ridiculous. If there's something she wants to say, she should just say it clearly. I think to myself and start walking again. I won't pay attention to Ruko for now. What's the plan?
怒
However,
ったか？
huh? Turn around at the sudden question. Ruko's staring intently at me, but can't read her expression. Can't be interpreted. Scratch my head and answer. I'm not particularly angry or anything. Right, I'm no longer angry. However, I'm still a little stumped. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I don't understand Ru's situation, and if you go doing as you like, you'll be shunned.
ルー。
If you don't care about being liked by Ooh, that doesn't matter though. For now, it's okay because people think it's because she's a foreigner. But I don't think that can go on forever. I point that out and Ruko hangs her head, possibly reflecting.
ウーの心。難しい。
It's not hard, not at all. No doubt it's the same as yours, Ruko. Gently explained to a more meek Ruko. I won't ask details about your situation, Ruko. However, what you want to do and what your expectations are, I want you to at least explain those.
したいこと。
Ruko inclines her head doubtfully for a few minutes. I wait patiently. Eventually, Ruko says with a
ウーの
sigh.
家まで行っていいか？
Observation again. Ruko does not answer. Answer Ruko's crazy actions for you. And having said that, leaving her alone will cause problems. In which case, I don't mind. Sure, I don't mind. However,
ルー？
as a friend. Mom!
ルー。
As we enter the house, Ruko looks all around restlessly. It's a perfectly normal house to me, but for Ruko it's unusual. He says, seeing the chairs around the dining table. Huh?
ウーに親はいないのか？
I do have him. I wasn't born out of thin
で
air.
もいない。
I finally realized what Ruko was trying to say. There's no sign of my parents in the house. But she must have noticed they haven't been here in a while. Both are overseas. They are lovey-dovey despite being at that age. Dad's been posted overseas for work and Mom's gone with
捨
him.
てられたのか？
That's not what I mean. Frown at Ruko's serious tone of voice. I'm not an age that my parents need to worry about me anymore. If anything, it annoys me when my parents interfere. No, I'm not in some rebellious period. It's just, how should I put it? When parents interfere, it achieves nothing. So it's silly to just worry too much about
つま
me.
りウーはもう一人前なのだな。
No way. I rely on my parents for the school fees and house. When I'm struggling, Konami and Yuji are surprisingly dependable. So my parents have peace of mind and I manage to get by. Anyways, I'll make food today. Not very good though. You got any requests? I go into the kitchen and open the refrigerator. There's nothing special here. Can I make some with this? Fried rice with onion in it? Oh well, if push comes to shove, I could always order takeout. As I'm thinking about it, I sense Ruuko calling me and poke my head out to the kitchen. Did you decide what you want to eat? Romanian cuisine is out of the question. Ruuko raises her arms and assumes her Ru pose. I suppose I've recently started to understand it. Ruuko does it whenever she's about to make a declaration. As expected, Ruuko turns to me and clearly
ルー
says,
にお任せしろ。
Up to you. Her usual Ruuko language. Very simple, but extremely difficult to understand. I must have been caught off guard at her sudden declaration, but after thinking about the situation a bit, I think I know what she's saying. Perhaps she means, Ruuko, you're going to cook!
ルー
The emphatic Ru seems to be serious. I just want to make sure, but can a lady cook?
失敬だぞ。ルーの女は料理ができて一人前。ルーに任せろ。
She says, and without waiting for a response, goes into the kitchen, opens the fridge and every cupboard one by one, checking what's inside. Oh well. Shall I leave it to Ruuko? Then I'll take you up on your offer, but could you please make it edible for Earthlings? Ruuko says flatly to my joke.
安心しろ。ルーはグルメだ。のように味覚が破壊されているわけではない。
She inadvertently spouts rude comments. Anyway, I leave the kitchen in Ruuko's hands and return to the living room. I initially thought I'd watch TV, but I'm getting uneasy as I don't hear the sounds of cooking. Should I really leave it to her? I peeked into the kitchen. Ruuko appears to be staring at the microwave, so she'll be making some from frozen food. A little while later, after observing the microwave carefully, Ruuko presses the button on it, but the microwave starts humming with nothing in it. Waste of energy, that's not the problem. I ask Ruuko uneasily. What are you doing?
魚料理だ。
The fish.
もうすぐ出てくる。
Up here? Look at Ruuko again. Ruuko's staring at a microwave oven. No way. The oven beeps, informing us that it's finished its warming cycle. Ruuko? Ruuko turns to me and says
この
displeased.
レプリケーター壊れている。
Yep.
いつまで経っても魚が出てこない。
Ah! Replicator. In other words, a machine that creates duplicates, like those in SF movies that can produce cups of tea out of thin air. I bang on the microwave a few times to emphasize. This is a microwave oven! It just heats! Earth science hasn't advanced that far!
温めるだけでこんなに大きな箱か？非効率的だぞ。
Anyway, I grab Ruuko by the shoulders. Earth is seriously primitive! It won't make something out of nothing. You have to cut the ingredients and warm them yourself. It has to obey the laws of thermodynamics.
したり温めればいいのか？
It is. Ruuko's eyes the gas burner. She sniffs it. Then Ruuko puts her hands on the stove knob. You can't use that!
安心しろ。ルートってこれがなんだかわかる。火が出る機械だ。焼いたり煮たりするのだろう。だから。
No, but you can't.
これをひねると。
Don't. Don't means don't.
ルー
She looks at me with a begrudging look, but I point to the microwave. All you can use is the microwave, Ruuko. There's frozen food in the freezer. Read the instructions and set the time to start. Understand? Her expression doesn't change, but the Ru nuance belie her dissatisfaction. But if she used the gas burner incorrectly, the whole house will burn down. It had to be hard on her. Ruuko senses my determination and reluctantly opens the freezer. Well, she can't start a fire with a microwave, so that's a relief. Well, just in case I observe Ruuko's actions once more. When she retrieves from the freezer's frozen noodles, she turns it over and reads the instructions. Looks alright so far. However, Ruuko seems to have thought of something, and this time takes eggs out of the fridge. Then she puts them in the microwave and sets the time? Then, you can't put eggs in the microwave! I run at top speed to the microwave and push the cancel
何
button.
慌ててる？説明書に卵を入れるとさらに美味しくなると書いてあるから実行しただけだぞ。
Ruuko looks at me blankly with her question. I tell her sternly, you can't put eggs in a microwave. The eggs will explode. It's worldly common sense. Well, Ruuko doesn't care about my shouting and acts her usual self.
その冗談面白くないぞ。卵が爆発するなんてありえない。
The MC just stands there. Turns the microwave back on. See?
卵を茹でても爆発しない。なのにウーは卵が爆発するという俗説を信じてる。呆れ果てたぞ。ウー。
She doesn't seem to understand how a microwave works. Well, I don't really know myself. Explaining is going to be a pain. Anyway, I pass Ruko and point to the living room sofa. You stand by over there, Ruko. I'll get Japanese sushi, so you just wait obediently.
うー。
It's obvious she's unhappy hearing that. Well, it's outside her influence, so she won't have any comeback. But it was probably a bit harsh. I think to myself and grab the phone to order delivery. In the end, I ordered 2 servings of high-quality sushi for Ruko. I can't deny having a degree of guilty feelings towards Ruko. But Ruko, saying it's her first time having sushi, also saying raw fish is okay, is double standards. Perhaps it was a clever trap to make me order sushi. I don't know what's what. Ruko probably does things her own way, as I've never seen a person speak so frankly about someone's lifestyle. What on earth is she thinking? What did she want to do? I think I'd like to talk to her more, but regardless of what I say, she doesn't answer honestly. I come to the conclusion that I can't ask her anything. Besides, I haven't gotten used to talking to girls enough that I could even have an idle chat with them. I'm lost in thought over that and time passes.
風呂には入らないのか？背中を流してやるぞ。うー。
Again, I respond to her somewhat tiredly. I'm
Takedo.
fine. Do I have to spell it out? It's late, so you need to go home, Ruko. I say it, but then curse my own careless mouth. Ruko, her home. There's not much to read in her expression, but the silent expression she has now speaks volumes, I think. It may just be my interpretation, but that's what I think. Ruko, I should put her up in my home. Or perhaps she's less likely to cause trouble if she stays with Konomi. However, Ruko anticipates the discussion.
何を心配している？ルーは一人で生きていける。
But
ウーこそ寂しくないか？親がいないのだろう。
I'm fine. I'm fine. As I said, Konomi's here. And my parents will come back soon enough. Even if we're separated by death, there's no iron curtain. It's not like I won't see him
そうだ
again.
な。
Ruko? Hey. Ruko puts her hand around my neck and hugs me close. Hugs me close and buries my face in her chest. Ruko, this is kind of
じっ
embarrassing.
としてろ。ウー。ル
Ruko,
ーがウーを慰めてやる。感謝しろ。
Ruko. I see. Ruko is really. Well, that's how it is. Whether Ruko's parents are just overseas or she's really from Ursa Major, I don't know. But one thing's for certain, they're not here, and she can't see them. So, the one who's actually lonely here...
寂しくない。寂しくなんかないぞ。
Ruko whispers. Was that really directed at me? She really is a normal girl. A ripe age. Perfectly normal. Or really wants to see her parents soon. Just, Today must be a homesick day. That's why this probably happened today. Wanted to talk to me about anything. To look after me, even if I admit that. And then, even if that means she'll shower me with her
今日は
kindness.
ウーが眠るまでこうしてやる。
Yeah, thanks. As honestly entrusted myself to her. Morning. That morning I sat up in bed after waking up. I don't recall when I was covered by a blanket. Ruko must have done that, but where's Ruko? After that I was a one pasipiless. I don't remember what happened. Get up and walk down to the living room. What a nice smell. Look at the table. There's a plate of ham and eggs placed on it. There's a note under the plate. Pluck it out. On it is, I'm going, Ruko. She's gone. The ham and eggs on the plate were a little burnt, but they're not that badly made. Look at the kitchen. The used frying pan has already been washed and stacked. What? She used the stove without a problem. In which case, I should have just let her prepare the meal. Think to myself, I'd not be able to see Ruko again. Hey, Ruko! That morning I went to school with Konami as per usual. Meet up with Yuji along the way. Konami parts from us along the way and we arrive in school. Had the same routine as always. It was only for a short period, but I already missed that intrigue. And I'm a little sad about Ruko. But, Ru, on hearing that familiar voice, I turn around. Ruko! Why'd you at school? You didn't return home. Why am I so worked up? I say, my eyes
帰
bubbling.
ったぞ仮住まいに
Temporary residence. You didn't go to your own home. Or rather, like, given yesterday's events, I was sure you should have
お
gone
かしな
home.
ウーだルーの家は大熊座だぞ迎えに来てもらわないと帰れないそうウーには言ったはずだ
She did say that. I heard it. However, that doesn't mean I thought it was really like
満
that.
足したか
Yeah.
ならいい
Ruko returns to her seat. I'm surprised and call to her. Hey,
なん
Ruko.
だ
When it comes down to it, I'm lost for how to put it. But in the end, I just say how I honestly feel. Are you happy relying on me? Smiles and
ルーは
says,
誇り高い部族だウーなどに頼ったりしないでも
However,
気にしてやるぞウーのことは
so it's lunchtime. Skip. Sound of chalk scratching the blackboard echoes throughout the classroom. Does it though? It's not anymore. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just want to see you next time. Hasta la bye bye.